If you have watched any of my prior videos, then you know my love for dividend stocks and their ability to generate more passive income. However, not all dividend stocks are created equal. When it comes to valuing stocks in general, you want to value and look at the fundamentals. However, if it's a dividend paying stock, you also want to look at the safety of the dividend and look at their free cash flow. After all, free cash flow, growing free cash flow makes the dividend grow. But you see it all the time. Investors, especially new investors, get caught up in high dividend yields. But you need to ask yourself, why is the dividend yield so high? Is there something fundamentally wrong or underlying thing going on that is wrong with the company? Can the company support that dividend with their free cash flow, or are they utilizing debt just to pay a dividend? All red flags right there for me as a dividend investor. So with that being said, in today's video, we're going to take a little bit of a different approach than what you may be used to. We're going to look at 2 dividend stocks that I'm avoiding right now. So if you're excited for today's video, and I think you're really going to like it, do me a huge favor before we begin. Click that like button down below, as it really helps me spread the word. It shows your appreciation, and I'm truly grateful for that. So with that being said, once you've done that, let's jump into the video. Hey everyone, Mark Rusin here, back for another video. As always, I'm a CPA and not a financial advisor, so please do not take this as financial advice. And before we begin, let me take a quick moment to thank today's video sponsor, which is The Motley Fool. The Motley Fool has a ton of great resources and products available for investors of all different levels. And right now, if you go to fool.com/Mark, you could sign up to receive their 10 best stocks to buy right now, completely free. Check out the link down in the description below. With that being said, let's get back to our 2 dividend stocks that I am avoiding. Again, this is my opinion. It doesn't mean I will not own these stocks ever, although one of them I will likely never own. But just know that these are my and strictly my opinion only. Let's begin with dividend stock to avoid number 1, which is ZIM Integrated Shipping Services. Stock ticker ZIM. I get asked about ZIM all the time on my social media platforms, and it's all due to their high dividend yield. A high dividend yield that they once had. In fact, just last year, ZIM paid a special dividend of $17 per year. And once we're going to look at the chart here, you'll see that the stock isn't even trading at $17 right now. For those of you unaware with ZIM, the company provides container shipping and related services out of Israel and internationally. The company has a low market cap of $1.4 billion. And over the past year, get this, the stock is down 75%. Year to date, they are down 30%. So clearly, the stock or the company has issues and is the perfect example of a falling knife. When looking at the chart here, it looks all too familiar to a popular telecom dividend stock, AT&T, which fell from $30 over the past few years down to $20, down to $15, and below that now. And people were buying it all the way down. However, this is not a company that I want to own in my portfolio. When there's underlying issues going on like this and we're seeing big fall down in the stock price, I take the approach of I want to see the company turn things around first. So what this means is I'm giving up trying to locate the exact bottom. Instead, I want to catch it on the trajectory a lot higher if we ever get to that point. So I'm not going to catch the very bottom, but I'm also not going to catch a falling knife. As you can see, investors that just recently invested in ZIM are already down 20% in a matter of weeks. ZIM reported their Q2 earnings in mid-August, and leading up to the earnings call, you can see exactly what I'm talking about here, as the last 4 articles here on looking at Seeking Alpha all recommending a buy, a classic bottom may be here mentality that is nothing more than a guess. Boom, the stock is down another 15% the past few weeks after releasing these Q2 earnings. Q2 came and the company reported net loss with their adjusted EBITDA falling. You ready for this? 87% as freight shipping rates fell by 2/3 from a year ago. The company's cash position fell from $4.6 billion at the end of 2022, so 6 months ago, to $3.2 billion as of the end of June. So they are just bleeding cash right now. Volume down, rates down. And what did that recently lead to after all of that? The company skipping its Q2 dividend payment. Looking here at the Fast Graphs chart, you can see analysts expecting huge losses moving forward. Net losses each of the next 3 years. So after looking at all that, fundamental issues and demand issues really for the company moving forward. And analysts see this as net loss after net loss after net loss each of the next 3 years. And who knows if that dividend is coming back anytime soon. This is yet another perfect example on why you never invest solely based on yield alone. Do not chase dividend yields. Now moving on to dividend stock to avoid number 2, which is United Parcel Service, stock ticker UPS. I recently covered UPS briefly in another video in which we ranked 5 dividend growth stocks. UPS did not fare very well in that video, which I'll put a link at the top of the screen here, and it's not going to fare all too well in this video either. UPS happens to be another logistics company, but more of a global logistics, a global giant in the space. The company has a market cap of $144 billion. Over the past 12 months, though, the stock is down nearly 20%, and year to date, they are down 5%. UPS recently agreed to a 5-year deal with their labor union, Teamsters, to which they have over 300,000 UPS workers. That had the two sides at odds for a little while, threatening package delivery delays to millions across the globe. The new contract includes pay raises for both part and full-time workers. Full-time workers will average $49 an hour now. Current workers will get $2.75 more an hour this year and $7.50 more per hour over the next 5-year contract. Part-time workers will make no less than $21 an hour, up from a minimum of $15.50. So as you can see here, these are actually some major raises for this labor union. And although it's a great win for the labor workers, as they're going to be getting paid more, it's definitely going to negatively impact, in a big way, I believe, UPS's bottom line. Sure, the disruption is over, but at what cost? UPS has seen volume declines lately, revenue declines in their most recent quarterly earnings report, but that doesn't really matter moving forward to the Teamsters because you still have to pay your labor. So if this is the start of some weakening in the consumer segment, and we're going to see volumes continue to decrease and revenues continue to decrease, this new deal is really going to hurt UPS's bottom line. Here's a great chart I found on a recent article with the author breaking down the year-over-year results for revenues, net income, operating cash flow, EBITDA, and adjusted operating cash flow. As you can see, every single category fell in the most recent quarter, and the figures show a considerable drop-off in each category. Could this be a sign of that beginning weakening consumer? We'll have to see. But if the economy does continue to slow down, UPS could be in some big trouble. Again, could this be the sign of a weakening consumer? That trend moving forward, if the economy falls into a recession, UPS could have some major problems. So now let's take a closer look at the dividend here for UPS. The current dividend is at $6.48 per share, which currently equates to a dividend yield of nearly 4%. So you're getting a decent yield. The company has a 5-year dividend growth rate of 12.4%, but that's a little skewed, and we're going to take a look at that here in a second. After this Teamsters union deal, I fully expect the company to slow down its dividend growth rate. For years, the dividend grew at a pretty slow clip until early 2022. After a solid year from all the pandemic-related online demand pulled forward, the company hiked the dividend by nearly 50%, which is why the 5-year dividend growth rate is as high as it is. Analysts are looking for EPS to drop 26% in 2023 after rebounding in 2024. Using those 2024 estimates, shares of UPS still trade above their 5-year average at 10.7 times. However, when you look at EPS's main rival, FedEx, their EPS is expected to grow at an even faster clip each of the next few years, as I think UPS is going to have to try and pass on a lot of these higher costs from this new labor deal on to consumers. And it could lead to more business for the likes of FedEx. Now, UPS isn't a company that I'm going to avoid forever. It's just a company that I see a lot of underlying issues that are really going to weigh on the business for the next 12 to 24 months. So that's a reason I'm going to be avoiding UPS here in the near term. Now, Zim, on the other hand, is a company that I'm likely going to avoid out of my portfolio forever. So that's really our video today. 2 dividend stocks that I'm looking to avoid. One I'm going to likely avoid forever, and UPS is one that I'm avoiding here in the near term. In the comment section down below, let me know a couple dividend stocks that you are avoiding. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel so you're notified anytime we drop new content. And with that being said, take care.